Welcome back. Well, there's definitely a significant recovery which is taking place in the financial space. The Nifty has recouped back to around 17,000, but the Bank Nifty also, when we started this show, it was down over 600 odd points. Now it's down over 450 odd points. So there has been an incremental recovery which has taken place. Just want to point out a couple of stocks such as Biocon. That stock is at a fresh 52-week low. And remember that the street will be watching out for any kind of recovery that takes place in terms of its earnings this quarter, as well as the closing of the Viatris deal, which is basically the biosimilar business that they bought. So those are a couple of key factors to keep in mind. But let's now go across to Manisha Gupta, commodities editor. She joins in. Manisha.
Thank you so much for that, Ekta. Well, I'm looking at the festival demand that has been the conversation on the channel today on various sectors there, and the jewelry demand is not too far behind. Whether it's comparable to previous year or pre-COVID levels is what we are asking Surendra Mehta. He's director at the India Bullion and Jewelry Association, and he joins us on the show right now. Mr. Mehta, hi. You know, I've been talking to some jewelers on street, and they tell us that last year was one out of decades where you saw pent-up demand coming in. If we can be equal to that or even 10% below that would be a positive for the jewelry sector. How are you reading the numbers though?
We have been regularly doing these surveys across the country, and what we find that these numbers will increase by at least 12 to 15% in comparison to last year. There has been a very heavy demand, particularly in the southern region and western region. Very heavy festival demand due to Diwali festival. And also due to the marriage season coming in. What we find is that there is a lot of demand not only for the lightweight jewelry, but there is also a very good demand for the bridal jewelry and other designer jewelry. We are seeing a significant change in the buying pattern. The youngsters who have not been buying gold earlier have started buying gold, and this is all not only in form of the investment but also in form of the jewelry. I think jewelry industry is all set to see a very good season this year.
All right, that is good to know. My question also is about excuse me, about the retail expansion stores that we've seen. You know, there was a report from World Gold Council which says that it is about chain stores which clearly have nearly 30 to 35% of the Indian market share for jewelry as of now. And we have seen a lot of expansions come in the last year, this year as well. How are you looking at this market share expanding?
Well, definitely, one should see the expansion with the market getting more organized, and it also means that there is a heavy demand for gold and gold jewelry in all the stores. And as you rightly said, the market is getting organized, the jewelers are getting organized. The investors, consumers, everybody is getting organized, and they are falling in line. They want to go to a bigger store. They want to see lot of new stuffs, lot of new innovations, new ideas.
Mr. Mehta, the other thing to watch out for also is the e-commerce and the online buying of jewelry that, as you mentioned, millennials really seem to be looking at. What has been the year-on-year growth on those? Mr. Mehta, can you hear me?
Okay, I think we've lost the line with Mr. Mehta. But overall, Manisha, what can we expect in terms of growth this festive season compared to, say, pre-COVID levels?
I think, as you said, you know, last year was even better than pre-COVID levels because you saw that pent-up demand coming in. Yes, and I was expecting that this year was more comparable to last year because you would be looking at a lower demand coming in. But as Mr. Mehta was pointing out, that you are looking at perhaps 10 to 15% more demand as compared to previous year. You know, a couple of points, plus points there. One is that you have the gold prices 20% off from its March highs. The second is, yes, there are a lot of weddings happening from November until the month of March. That is where the demand could be coming in from. And last year, somewhere we got lost on the millennials and the younger crowd. They were not buying gold. They would rather spend on phones or vacations because the markets were coming out from a lockdown. But that trend also seems to be changing now. There is a lot of millennial buying, minimalistic, lower, minimalistic designs, everyday walk-in fashion jewelry. It's something that the younger crowd also seems to be, spending money on, and also on diamond jewelry. Platinum seems to be back in demand as well. So yes, precious metal seems to be coming back.
Okay, precious metals seem to be coming back, and a depreciating rupee doesn't seem to be denting demand at all. Thanks, Manisha, for joining in and giving us that perspective on gold. Well, for the markets, yes, there is a recovery. The Nifty sitting above 70.